Thank you, Helen. Yeah, my name is Devine. I'm a surveyor here at the National Railway Museum, and really delighted to have the opportunity to say a few words to you this evening. Thanks, Jason. The National Railway Museum is part of the Science Museum Group. The Science Museum Group is an independent charity. It is 70% funded by DCMS, Department for Culture, Media and Sport, and the rest of the money is self-generated by the group. Here at York at the National Railway Museum, we are the custodians of the world's greatest collection of railway material. We have 190 staff, 400 very active volunteers, and our sort of turnover or our operating budget is just under £6 million. Perhaps the difference to us and the other partners is we're an occupier, we live on the site, we've lived on the site since 1975. So for us, York Central is all about what we can do for the site and what the site can do for us. So the future of the museum is absolutely intrinsically linked with the York Central development. We've kind of been on a declining industrial brownfield site for a long time, and we're really excited by what the master plan for York Central means for us. And in response to that, we've devised a £50 million master plan where we want to grow our visitor numbers from around 750,000 a year today up to around 1.2 million visitors a year. And we've got really ambitious plans to radically reimagine the visitor experience and demonstrate how railways have changed the world and how modern science and engineering continue to transform railways. Quick game here of Spot the Museum. We feel very disconnected from the city at the moment. This is the view you get as you exit from the station to the west. If you know what you're looking for, you can see the Railway Museum, our two main buildings, but the Unipark depot, the coal drops, it makes it a sort of a tortuous experience for people trying to find us from the city. People have already talked about Marble Arch tonight. That's not a great experience either. And then this is our sort of other big issue that holds us back as a museum. We're bisected by Lehman Road, so as visitors come to the museum, we bring them in, we send them back outside, down some steps or queue for the lift. And the finished floor levels between the two sides of the museum are around 15 centimetres different, so this is a real obstacle for us. Our vision is to inspire the railway through, inspire the nation through railway innovations of the past, present and the future. There's two sides of our master plan, Great Hall, which is the building we're in now, and then a new central gallery. I'll count to three. So Great Hall is in the foreground of this image, and it looks like a modern building, but it's anything but. It dates right back from the 1880s and the foundation of the goods station at York, and you can see in 1959 the sort of full extent of the development of the engine sheds that sat north of Lehman Road. Really interesting history. One of the biggest events was the Baedeker raid over York in 1942. Sir Ralph Wedgwood, the sister locomotive of Mallard, destroyed in the raid, and that's Great Hall in 1942. So extent of the damage. It got repaired, new roof put over it quickly at the end of the war, with all the constraints on materials, so quick new roof on. And this is a series of photos of that great engine shed in the 1960s, new roof on it, but still with the Victorian floor, the pits, the layout, the turntable, and that was the kind of atmosphere it had. Came out of use with the rail industry in the early 1970s. We took it on in 1975. Grand opening, 2 million visitors that year. And we carried on in that form, but that quick post-war roof started to have problems for us. It let the water in, didn't protect the collection, didn't protect our visitors. So our last major investment was in 1991, when this major over-roofing project was done, the cheapest way to get a building that big weathertight. It created a great space, which is fantastic for showing our large collection items, but perhaps some of the atmosphere was lost. So the first phase of our master plan, Great Hall, is to be redisplayed and reimagined, keeping the best items of the collection on display, but displaying them better, but crucially telling the story of those items and the impact that they had on the world. A lot of young people today don't understand just how big that impact was. Standard time between UK cities, the rise of national newspapers, national sport for anyone who follows a football team. Railways completely changed that and enabled that to happen in a much different way. So this is the kind of thing we want to do in our first phase. We also want to deliver a Wonder Lab aimed at young people with over 40 interactive displays for young people to enjoy, learn about science, learn about railways. So that's all our first phase in this building that we want to deliver by 2021. The big game changer then for us is York Central and the new Western Access, which is required to deliver the master plan and improve the quality of space for people in Salisbury Avenue and Lehman Road, but it gives the potential for the road between the museum to be diverted. And with that, we would like to deliver a new central gallery that sits across the road, properly linking the two halves of the museum, giving a proper orientation and welcome for visitors, and displaying the future of rail and the engineering that's so crucial to it and is now in place all around the world. So I've just got some images of it. This was early work done, for those of you who heard the previous session, by Wilkinson Eyre to show how that building might look. There'll be much more design and consultation on this before it gets delivered. Here's a view from the inside. Another view similar to one perhaps you saw earlier from across the new public realm towards the new museum building. And then at the back of the museum we want to completely transform our south yards. Currently they're quite a sad, sorry area with lots of intrusions, lots of types of fencing, lots of tents and things, but we want to create a much better sort of parkland space that blends with the York Central Park and enables people to embrace the sort of the heritage of the site and the collection.